All right, light crew. Um, as I said yesterday, a lot of plays in the game that could have, changed some of the things that happened. And I think the big thing for us today is going to be respecting how much each play can impact the result of a game. There are plays in the first quarter that could have changed drives, either side, second quarter, third quarter, and then obviously the fourth quarter. So, a lot to learn from. It's a tough one. Give them credit. They kept playing, kept fighting, and that's been the nature of our season, one way or the other. Either we win the close one or somebody else does. And, we got to make more plays along the way to avoid putting ourselves in a situation where, we put it in a one or two play sequence to determine the outcome. And I think it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's something that we're going to need to do better as we go forward.
Just going back, under 30 seconds to go, they have no timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys go with a press man coverage.
Yep.
Traditionally,
Yeah.
you go with
Yep.
play guys
No.
back. Can you, and I'm not questioning your
No,
resume.
I understand.
Certainly better than mine. But can you please
No.
explain that thought
Yeah,
process?
just you have multiple choices there, and we chose to at least get tight to them, you know what I mean, and try to make completing the ball a little bit harder. And I don't think we did a great job of executing, maybe being on top of the player the way that we would like to. But again, we can always look back at that and choose something else. And we play a softer zone and give them opportunity to find somebody in some space. And I know the time was a little bit of a factor. They still could have completed a ball and then clocked it and those kind of things. So, hindsight is always 20/20. And I think, for us, the message is just going to be whatever the call is, whenever we call, zone, man, split safety, post safety, just try to execute it as best we can to try to deny opportunities like that.
You look back at the second half, do you think that maybe you got too conservative last night?
Nah, when you look at the tape, there's opportunities to be made. And, I don't know how many times Derek scrambled, but it had to be 4 or 5 at least, I think. And on a number of those, we were attempting to get the ball down the field, had some opportunities on some of them to do that. Again, passing the ball is a complimentary thing. I've said it all year, and I won't stop saying it because it's the truth. It's not just calling a pass play or calling a deep shot. It's everything has to work together. So the route has to be run properly, the read has to be made properly, the protection has to be done well, and then you have an opportunity to make a play. Just because somebody calls something, which there was a number of them called last night, doesn't mean that the ball is ultimately going to get fired down the field or we're going to have great success. When we've had success this year, it's been the result of everybody doing their job well. That's the reality. And so I didn't call the game any differently yesterday than I have any other game this year offensively. And I just felt like we didn't have as much success taking advantage of a few opportunities that were presented to us for a number of reasons, and again, they deserve credit. They played hard. They had some things inside to give us some trouble in the middle of the pocket and forced Derek to move a little bit more than what we would have liked. And so there were opportunities that we weren't really able to take advantage of, as opposed to just we didn't attempt to. I just don't think we really didn't convert many of them, is really what it was.
Last night you hadn't been able to see what happened on the Tillery penalty?
Yeah, now I saw it. I mean, obviously he knocked the ball out of his hand. Look, at that point it's 2nd and 19 or 2nd and 20 and the clock's running. The message today is let's just get back to the line of scrimmage and play the next down. You know what I mean? There's nothing really for a defensive player, an offensive player, there's nothing good that happens after the whistle. When you're doing things like that, it doesn't matter what it is, shoving, pushing, saying something, you don't get points for that. There's nothing good that comes from it. So I'm sure Jerry will see that. I'm sure he feels bad about the situation, and we'll try to coach and correct it again today.
Josh, you've got to see the film, but from the 7th floor of the press box, on Derek's first interception, it looks like he got a guard pushed into him after he starts the motion.
Yeah.
We're not making excuses, but reality is reality. Is that what happened?
Yeah, there was some compression in the pocket. You know what I mean? So we may have had something else available a little bit earlier, or as it was kind of coming in his face. But again, like I said, passing the ball is a team thing. it's not just call a pass play and it's going to magically work because it's a pass play. It's the design has to be well done. The execution of the route has to be done properly. The read, the protection has to be inside out. We have to anchor the middle so he has a chance to step up and throw. So we've had a lot of good throws this year, a lot of good pass plays, a lot of success doing some things. And when we've had that, it's not been just because of, Devontae ran a great route. Well, there's a lot of those, but Derek did something right. The other part of the pattern was executed well. The protection was done right. And that's always what it is. It's a team thing. And so, I thought we were doing a really good job of taking the last shot there at the end of the second quarter. We were manipulating the ball down the field and trying to end the half with a score and try to go up 20-3 if we could. And, that play obviously didn't go our way. So it's something to learn from for us.
The momentum that you had built up with the 3-game winning streak, does it feel like a step back with the way it lost?
I mean, none of them feel good, Q, as you know. I mean, it's a gut punch, and God, we've had a few of them, where we got a chance and just for whatever reason don't end up getting it closed out, and there's been a number of reasons why. And so, look, I mean, I think we have a mentally tough group. I think we've handled some adversity this year with a good attitude and the right approach, and that's what we all need to do. We're professionals, and we'll have an opportunity. They'll have an opportunity to get a little rest here and try to get their mind away from things for a few days, and then when it's time to come back, it's time to go back to work. We got 4 more games that we have control over, and put everything we got into them and see what happens.
You've said all year your team has been good about win or lose, it's not too high, not too low. And you just said, you've been through this before. But in the locker room last night, it felt different. I mean, did it feel different to you?
Well, I think guys knew that there was an opportunity. You know what I mean? I mean, we had an opportunity, certainly, and we had earned the right to be in that position where, we're getting closer to, clawing back into some things here as the season winds down. And I certainly think that our team felt like we had an opportunity yesterday. We were in position to have a chance to win. I mean, that's the reality, and we had, however good or bad we had played up to that point, we had played well enough to earn that right, to be in there and try to close it out and get to 6 and 7, and that's, I think, what everybody put a lot into last 4 days to try to get that done, and so, I mean, the disappointment and the frustration of not being able to close it is palpable. I mean, easily to see. But that doesn't mean you have a bad locker room. It doesn't mean that anybody's pointing fingers or blaming others. The reality is we let an opportunity go, and and I'm responsible for that. So if they want to point a finger, point it at me, and we're going to try to go back to work and fix the things that aren't being done well enough to close out these close games.
Josh, you talked about learning how to win, and clearly over the 3-game win streak they did. But when you're giving up multiple double-digit leads, is that killer instinct? Learning how to put your foot on somebody's throat.
I don't know if it's a killer instinct as much as it's just continuing to do your job. I mean, like I said, Max sacks the quarterback, and then we just talked about a penalty that, we haven't done much of that all year, and all of a sudden we have a penalty that puts us in a situation where we give them yards and give them a first down, and then, we jump off sides on a punt rush, and it's the same thing. It's things like that. I don't think it's killer instinct. I think it's just the reality is you got to do your job right for 60 minutes, and if you don't, then teams in this league take advantage of mistakes that you make. And so, I've said it before, and I know people get tired of hearing it, but, you can't win until you stop from losing. And those kind of things can affect the outcome of the game. They might not determine it right then and there, but they have some kind of an impact as the game goes along. And I think our team is starting to really understand that. I think that's what they feel, and they feel bad about when they make a mistake like that. It sucks, and so any disappointment like that should be kept, where it needs to be kept, which is, look, we can do something better about it as we go forward and try to make a difference as we do.
I know it's only the next day, but any update on Bars and his knee injury?
I don't have anything yet. I think it might be a little bit of time here with AB. They're going to do a couple more tests, but he got bent over. I mean, if you guys saw the play, we were lucky we didn't break his leg. So, I think it's probably going to be a little bit of time.
What about Josh Jacobs?
Nothing yet. I think the X-ray was negative, so I think that was a good thing. So, nothing new as of this point.
when you punt on 4th and 1 on that last possession, you can't ask for a better result, obviously, than what you got.
Yep.
But how much of the thought process of maybe deciding whether to punt or not is, hey, look, the quarterback on the other side has only been here 2 days. There's not probably much 2-minute drill they can do. Did that weigh into the decision to punt?
I just think look, we had an opportunity on 3rd and 1. We really did. I mean, we didn't do anything with that opportunity. That's a fact. And so we didn't do very well with it. And so, that being the case, I don't think it wasn't a big discussion for me, in terms of what we were going to do. I mean, at that point, we give them the ball. If you don't get it on, on the 30-yard line, they got a short field and 2 minutes to go, so it could be trouble, So I think AJ executing it the way that he did and putting them 98 yards away from a touchdown, I don't know what else we could have asked from him or the punt team, and you're hoping at that point that you have an opportunity to close the game out, playing defense and stop them from going 98 yards. That's the reality.
One play you had a little bit of unorthodox formation, Jacobout tight end and Devontae tailback. Was that just a look?
It was just a short yardage thing. I mean, it was a very similar play to what we've run that play multiple times, just in different formations, different looks, and all that. But you force the defense to try to react a little bit differently, and unfortunately, we didn't do a very good job of executing the play in general.
Oftentimes, when you have a short week, that means you have a long week after 10 days.
Yep.
But this maybe not a 10 days that you. There's a game coming up that you probably don't want to talk about for 10 days, maybe. Is this maybe a negative to have 10 days to lead up?
Meaning you don't want to talk about it as in.
I'm talking about the Patriots game on the horizon.
Yeah.
You have extra time to talk about it, to think about it, to be asked about it, to do interviews all over the place. I mean, everybody's gonna be talking about it. Is that maybe a negative to have 10 days before that game?
No, I mean, to me, I think it's the next game on the schedule. I know. I mean, look, it is what it is. I mean, I used to work there, and we have a couple players that used to be there and a couple coaches. But I mean, this is an important game for the Raiders. Whether we were playing the Patriots or any other team. So I don't really put any stock into the different things. You guys are gonna have a hard time finding me the next couple of days. So it is what it is.
You guys all set?
Good to go.
You did mention that was a loss that you guys had an opportunity in front of you. You thought for 58 minutes it looked like you were going to win it, and the playoff percentages are obviously very impacted by it. You're still alive, but greatly impacted. How much are you worried about the mindset of there is still things to play for, getting back and focusing and going?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it to this point either. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to start talking about it now. We don't have any control over that. You know what I mean? So that's the truth. The reality is what we can control, and that's our preparation and our performance. And we're going to try to do the best we can with the opportunities that we have remaining. And if we do well with those, then we'll see what sorts out. But I think that's so far away from us now, and I think really what we've got to do is take the corrections from the film today, try to do the best we can with those, and then take a little bit of time and give them some rest, a little recovery time here for our bodies. Playing 3 games in 12 days is never easy for them, and then trying to come back here next week with good energy and prepare for a game like we prepared all year. That's what we can control.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, you got it. Thanks, guys.